stringed out single file. If I was single file, I would get to the bottom, honestly, to try to catch this lead pack. But here goes everyone switching it up. Kyler Wynn, he gets to the back bumper. Danny Eberhardt, center of the corner. Big push on exit. Here comes Nightmare Esports on the outside. Cody Nagels pushing Vicente Guerrero. You see Garrett drop to the top, go all the way up to upstairs. Richard Elliott on the bottom, getting a big push. Everyone just mixing and matching up here.
Yeah, mixing and matching 2x2 still. On the outside, though, they have got a lot of momentum rolling right now as back to the top goes the 0-2 of Richard Elliott. And that's Landon Veliky now back to the inside. He's got a big run, and the biggest thing about these next gens is all the pushing and shoving that we're going to see here tonight. I mean, I almost think that when you get in these cars, it's dictated a lot less by, lines and more so just who can do the pushing. You can pretty much go to any lane here if you have the right guy pushing, and you're going to go to the front. As you see, it's like, ooh, man, Richard Elliott thought he was going to get himself split out in the middle briefly, but he jumped back up to the top, and he's going to get another push here from Garrett Maines as they work back into the tri-oval.
Yeah, you see, it's still 2x2. It's different than any other draft package. Yeah, Cody Nagels, straight, one in the wall.
And that's going to bring out the first caution of the night as Nagels goes around. He'll collect a couple more. The 48's in it, trying to figure out if Daniel Eberhardt was able to get through. I believe he was. And it looks like that's going to be the 24. Also involved, Hayden Dieterich. We had a couple more out back that were trying to sneak through this. Not sure who else got the worst, or I guess I should say who got the worst end of the spectrum. But it looks like that's Chase Mistretta in the 8 for Nightmare Esports. He's able to get back rolling. So he should be okay here. I don't see much damage. These next gens are pretty resilient when it comes to damage, especially in comparison to the Xfinity cars. So let's go back and take a look here what brings out the first caution of the night. As we had some trouble here. This all started, you heard Baker calling it out live as it happened. Starts with Cody Nagels in the 6. Some sort of issue that sent him up the track and into the outside lane. And then, of course, things escalated from there. So here we go. Watch it first from the chopper view right here. And we'll back that up a little bit further here. Okay, so Nagels is rolling right here on the outside. He's behind his teammate, Vicente Guerrero, in the 14. He's got a teammate behind him as well with Matt Lee. And is it a checkup? Yeah, just those big stack-ups that you get on the outside line here with these next gens. Nagels gets sent kind of low by it, and he's going to try to cover the middle, I think, once he gets shot low. Problem is Eberhardt's there, and so they kind of make contact there right around the left rear, right front region between Eberhardt and Nagels, and then Nagels just trying to save it, can't quite hold on. He's going to go around, and then Eberhardt, watch the 90, he's going to shoot up into the outside safer barrier. That's a big hit. Now, I talk about these cars being resilient, and they are resilient, at least everywhere except the suspension component. So for Daniel Eberhardt, I'd have some concern there if he broke a front toe link. We'll have to look at that here when we go back live, but you see for Nagels and just about everybody else that we could see, at least from that view, looks like they're okay. Didn't see any other major hits. And here we go. There's the 90. You see him hit hard up top. Nagels spins down below the apron, collects a couple more. Henning's one of those cars, and then the 24 as well. And it looked like that was pretty much the extent of it. So, I think you got to argue that you kind of get away with one right there. That could have certainly been a whole lot worse based off the way it initially looked. Give you a couple more angles of that. All right, we'll go back, and I want to watch this here. A couple more different. Let's go actually to the onboard here of Nagels, and this will kind of give you a better idea of what I'm talking about with those checkups, and it's going to be more so out back, but watch up front here first for Nagels, and then after the stack-up happens up front, watch it transition out back. There's the first checkup, runs into his teammate, gets ran into, and then it's not quite clear. And these things a little bit different when it comes to trying to save them than the Xfinity cars, which we've seen so much of recently. And by the way, for Daniel Eberhardt, who we talked about potentially getting suspension damage, well, let's find out. This was the view right after, and look at that right front. Locked up big time. And so that means he's going to have to take it to the pits for heavy repairs. I don't even know if we'll see Eberhardt back out with a competitive shot here tonight. It's all going to depend on how long it takes that virtual race team to get that car fixed, get it back.
You may see him. I think it's only going to be about 30 seconds optional.
Wow.
30 seconds of required. Probably about 3 or 4 of optional, but he should be fine.
Okay, well, there you go then. So he'll have a chance to get back out here, and in fact, as we look on pit road now, I mean, obviously the good news is that with the caution coming out, he doesn't have to worry about losing as many laps as quickly. But, I mean, overall, Baker, I mean, from our view, I know your race control, that didn't really look like it was on anyone too specific, at least the way it started. You know, it started with just a checkup, it looked like, and then Nagels, I assume, was he trying to just sneak clear of the middle once he got kind of pushed down there?
No, it looks like Cody just got pushed out of line. Everyone stacked up there on the top line, and he just called it a racing deal there for sure.
All right. Well, as we get ready to go back green, let's head back towards the front, see how they're looking. Still single file, so we haven't gotten the one-to-go signal just yet. And it looks like it is Kenny Reel in the Air Jordan scheme, the number 11 here tonight. He will be restarting on the front row alongside Matt Lee. And it's Landon Veliky back in third with Garrett Maines in fourth. Dylan Bass in fifth, John Mullahan sixth, Vicente Guerrero seventh, Richard Elliott in eighth, Rocky Boyd ninth, and Jimmy Emos rounding out your top 10. By the way, good to see everybody tuning in here tonight. Hope that you are having a good Halloween. I know some of you that aren't here probably taking the kids out to trick-or-treat. And then those of you that are tuning in, again, hopefully Halloween was good and it's continuing to go good. I did see some chats at the start there. And it looks like had an issue with the start of the stream, and so I apologize for that. We did start a bit later than usual, but we did start the stream still before the race started. In fact, I mean, Baker was here in the booth with me. We got the party started about 30 seconds or so before we came on track live, and then we went through the entire grid as these guys were, you know, taking the pace lap. And then we were here for the green flag, but it appears what may have happened is on YouTube, it hit go live, but I switched to my overlays, so it kind of freezes it on go live until it completely loads through. So I had to go back, and of course didn't catch that till lap 2. So apologize for that to anybody that was watching. I hate that you had to miss the start, but you didn't miss much. The only thing you really missed was, of course, the starting grid that we went through. As we saw, Garrett Maines was your pole sitter. And then once we did get things started, boy, yeah, that's right, it didn't take us long to get a caution. And see a couple people saying first to many. I hope not. These things put on a great show and it's clean, but yeah, you're right. More pushing and shoving can certainly mean a higher risk of potential cautions. Baker, what are you thinking? I mean, you drive this car quite a bit. How you think these guys will do tonight?
I think it's gonna be a slugfest. Honestly, I just think people need to mind the checkups. That's the only thing. And these guys are pretty good about it. But once you get 4 or 5 rows back, I mean, you got Jimmy Emos fifth row on the top side. So we'll see how that works out. It's gonna be a crazy green flag run here.
Certainly is. And here we go, pace car gonna pull off the track again. We're getting ready to go back green. And it's going to be 8 of 70 laps complete here at Talladega. How about some of the special talents we have in the field here tonight? Of course, I say special because every driver in this field is a talent when it comes to super speedway racing, but some of the Contender and Coke Series drivers that we haven't seen before. Daniel Falkingham, good to see him making an appearance here tonight. Let's see if he can find victory lane in his first PGR race as the green flag is officially back in the air. And it is a really good restart from the outside line. Kenny Reel, the Pied Piper right now as they work off towards turn number 1. Matt Lee on the bottom. He's getting pushed by the 62 of Landon Veliky. Those two teammates, let's see how well chemistry can translate to speed, as I'm curious to see if they can hold off this outside. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Look at the momentum rolling up top. Kenny Reel, he's going to get himself clear. Garrett is maybe as well, but they're not going to take it as now the high side looking to set up a little bit of a gap here through 3 and 4. Oh, man, Kenny Reel with a big save. Garrett Maines got him just a little bit offset. Reel has to go down. Now that's going to hang Garrett out. They're 3 wide, still trying to sort it out off of 4. Oh my goodness, how close was that to be in our second caution of the night? And they're not done yet. John Mullahan ditches Kenny Reel, and as he goes up, Reel tried to throw a block, couldn't cover it in time, and now right on cue, there's the caution. Must be for something a little further back though here. It appears, well, I'm not sure. Looking for the data on who exactly wrecked here. And I don't have it yet. So we'll have to wait and see on replay what caused this, but so far the predictions for a lot of cautions is looking pretty good here with 2 in the first 10 laps. As yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I would assume this was something towards the back. We're going to go back to replay right off the bat here because I'm not sure where exactly this incident took place. And this yellow flag, again, second one of the night. Let's back this up here and see if we can see anything from the rear chase view of any of these cars. We'll go up to the front first and then slowly work our way back. You see there doesn't appear that there's anything in the front of the field. Or did we just miss something? I don't see anything there.
It's like Raymond Hanneman is involved with James Wagner.
Okay, and so let's go back here and see if we can find it. James Wagner and Raymond Hanneman. There's Raymond right here. This is the 85 coming through the tribal. Caution had been thrown, I believe, at this point. So we'll back it up even further. Was this something that maybe happened over in turn number 3? Yes. Yep, sure enough. There you go. It's exactly what it was. So we'll watch it first here from the chopper view. Show you exactly how this contact starts. So that's Raymond Hanneman in the 85. And then the 30 just in front of him is James Wagner. This is going down the backstretch. Looks like Hanneman's going to try to jump up. And now they're going to go 4 wide because at the same time you have Kyler Wynn trying to shoot the middle right there. James, I got to believe maybe he just doesn't realize that he's up there because he doesn't turn dead right, but he turns probably 30 to 45 degrees to the right. And when he does so, I mean, Hanneman, he can't go any higher. He's already in the wall. And that gets the 30 turned around, and then you're going to see a couple drivers have to make evasive maneuvers there to try to miss it. Looks like for the most part they do. Couldn't see if there was a second incident further up. Those two cars did stay on track, though. Ken McCullough Jr. slides into frame late, but I don't believe he had any contact. I think he's okay. Watch this, though, from the gearbox view. In fact, we'll go to the left rear view here for James Wagner. Take it back. I mean, the right rear. Back this all the way up to where the contact starts, and you'll see it just creeps up. I mean, we'll get official word here from Baker, obviously. You know, he can hear radio chatter and stuff, but I just don't think James ever realized he was there.
Yeah, I don't think Wagner realized that he was there full wide. Just came straight up into him.
And that's a pretty heavy hit, I would say, for James Wagner, but I believe he gets a little bit more in the hood. I'd be more concerned for the 85 there in terms of suspension damage. Raymond Hanneman here. Let's see if we can see the right and left front. Seems to be okay. Left front's where he gets most of the damage. And steering wheel seems to be pretty straight, so I think both drivers will be okay to get back on track without too much damage. And give you one more look at this here from the turn 3 cam before we go back live and set ourselves up for the second restart of the night. So here you go. This is what it looked like full speed. And again, this happened at the back. That's why you really didn't see it collect anybody else, as they all scattered to the apron to try to miss it. And that was Ken McCullough Jr. you saw on the bottom there kind of at the last second. All right, so as we do go back live, it is Matt Lee now being scored as your leader. Landon Veliky in second. And then it's Josh Bonwell in the 56 in third, with Malik Ray in fourth. Boy, Malik Ray, I don't know. For anybody watching at home, if you got to catch the Contender Series at Darlington on Tuesday, man, Malik was so close to getting a win. Was leading going into the final turn at Darlington, but got passed on that last set of corners. Still, though, Malik Ray, one of the great talents, and good to see him in the field here tonight, along with everybody else that we have here. I mean, I'm looking at some of the names that we haven't seen in a while that I'm really excited to see what they can do here tonight. Josh Bonwell, we've been seeing him more recently, starting to come back around, but again, good to see the 56 out tonight. And then you go back a little bit further here, and the 7 of Malik Ray and Chevy Camaro. That's a good-looking paint scheme. Jeff Merck behind him with the PGR 500 logo. And, you know, tonight, a big night for a couple of reasons. Also going to be some filming done by the film crew in preparations for the PGR 500, which, again, will be in early February from what I know. That's a big event. We're looking forward to it. Again, we don't have official plans for now, but just to keep everybody kind of on, I guess, the leading edge of what we expect, we are planning, at least for now, on trying to have a producer with a little bit more of a fulfilled broadcast team for that. I know last time, of course, I tried to do the solo compute. I don't know what the word is for it, but the computer part by myself. Computer could not handle that. So, point is, it's going to be a big event, not only on the production side, but more importantly on the actual race side. The prizes are going to be just tremendous, and the talent of the field and the strength of the field, and hopefully the amount of cars that we get is going to be even bigger than that. So, look forward to that. Circle it on your calendars. We'll have more in the coming weeks. Baker, I know that you guys have been working on some things for the 500 in the background. Any new major updates that I missed?
Nothing new right now. Just trying to lock down a date. Once Mike gets all of his stuff transitioned into his new house, he gets his rig set back up, we'll be ready to go and get back to rocking and rolling. It's been fun here doing this mostly by myself. He's been behind the scenes doing no racing and just handling the financial side of it. But it's been fun mixing it up these next couple of weeks. But we're gonna look to get the next half of the quarter schedule out and see what we can do. But yeah, we're looking mid-February, probably February 14th or so.
Just in time for the real Daytona 500. Boy, that is going to be an exciting event. All right, lights are off on the pace car, so we will try this deal yet again. By the way, some of the other race info that I don't know if we got to touch on yet here tonight, because I know that we missed it, of course, with the start of the stream not starting as well as we were hoping it to, apparently, is that this race, obviously 70 laps, 12 complete, fuel 60%, and no fast repair here tonight. So that's why you got to keep an eye on some of these early wrecks, especially if they start taking out a lot of the big hitters. And that 60% fuel window in these cars, I would believe, should get everybody right around 20 to 25 laps, somewhere in that general window. So do that math. That gets these guys to about 37 laps or so, depending on how far they stretch it. Green flag is back in the air. 13 of 70 laps complete at Talladega. It's a great restart for the 04 Matt Lee. He'll quickly jump up to the high side to pick up his teammate Landon Veliky. Veliky's going to give him a big shot here through 1 and 2. Malik Ray, third in line. He's going to charge up another run. And what will Malik do? I mean, that's one of the drivers that we know likes to take a line to try to go to the front, but the next gens, it's just such a different ball game the way you drive them. It's more so you stay on the top, and if you make that move on the bottom, you're taking the risk. Further back, big wiggle right there. Kyler Wynn gives a massive shot to Cody Nagels here, and they are flying through the middle of the racetrack here. They finally have to check up as they catch a group of a couple slower cars. And as they split out of the way, Nagels, he'll find a spot to drop in line as well. And it looks like the car that they just caught, I believe, is that Rocky Boyd. Sure enough, it is in the 16 machine. He's got himself a good run going so far inside the top 15. And so you see still 3 and 4 wide in the back. That has really been where majority of the chaos has been, and the cautions have occurred so far here tonight. So as everybody tries, oh man, hold on to it. We had some more contact. That's another wicked save right there. Trying to figure out exactly who that was. I wonder if that was the 80 that we saw with that big wiggle right there. Man, these guys are all out of shape in the back right now, Baker. You reckon this is just a product of the runs that you can generate in these cars?
Yeah, I mean, the people are just not... They're just underestimating the speed of the runs that are happening here, and there's a lot of take and no give.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, we know that the next gens can obviously handle pushing and shoving better than the Xfinity cars, but at the same time, it's almost like drivers ramp up the aggression so much that it doesn't really translate very well when we put it that way. As further back, here's some more 3 and 4 wide now. The 6 of John Mullihan on the inside, stuck in the middle right now. Looks like that's the 71, I believe. Trying to make something happen. Is that Austin B. Floyd trapped in the middle right now? It looks like it might be for Austin Floyd. Looking for a good run here tonight. He's already up 34 positions from where he started this race at. And oh man, look at that move. Man, I'll tell you what, up front, you would think these guys would be taking it easy, but that was Minazzi Major in the 82 machine that just jumped down. And now look at the 29. Kyler Wynn, he's going to go right back up to the middle looking for another push. And how about the 16 of Rocky Boyd, who we just talked about being in the top 15? He's picked up 5 more positions and now has himself inside the top 10. Big question is, would we see a new winner here tonight? Oh, man, there's another big wiggle. Now there's contact. There they go. They're going to wreck Brian Hennings. Kyler Wynn go off track. Rocky Boyd comes back up, and that'll be the first big one of the night. As caution comes back out with 16 laps complete. Oh, and more piling in late. The 13, nowhere to go on the apron. And this is a destructive one. John Darnell in the 99. With a beautiful looking paint scheme on tonight. I know he was looking for a good run. Don't think he's got a lot of damage though here. Darnell may be okay. For some of these other cars though, yeah, maybe not so much. You see the 70 here of Jimmy Emos. He was pretty torn up. Darnell though, as we zoom it in, yeah, I don't see a lot of damage. Good looking Halloween scheme, and it doesn't look to be scratched up too much. So he'll be okay. We'll have to look at some of the other drivers to determine what the scenario is for them. Here we go. Let's back it up. Take a look right now. And so this was kind of the second wreck. Let's go up to the first incident, which was the incident that, of course, led to the big pileup here. And it's all going to start right around Rocky Boyd and company. And it's just too much aggression from what it looked like, at least from this view. Of course, we'll see little bit different from the chopper. But watch here. So you've got Kyler Wynn pushing Rocky Boyd in the middle. And see, in Kyler's case, here's Cody pushing him. They're lining up for a run. Kyler's going to get to the back of Rocky Boyd. Cody gives Kyler a shot. That gets Kyler a little sideways. Now he's offset. And so then when he hits Rocky, that gets him a little sideways. Rocky gets to the back of Garrett Maines, tries to check up a little bit, gives Garrett a shot, and then it just chain reactions and kind of starts to snowball Rocky Boyd. After getting up the track a little bit, Kyler gets to his outside, and then they eventually make contact here. And then it's on from there. Rest is history. Look at some of the cars this collects. Saw the 38 in there with nowhere to go. That was Gordon Spain, the 59 of Mark Von Dell. And a lot of really, really good race cars torn up. 25 of Rob Pickle. He had nowhere to go. Let's show you it here from TV3. Actually give you a little bit of a different angle and show you just how many this one collects here. So we saw Kyler initially go down the track and collect the 74 of Brian Hennings. I think those two actually get away from this thing, relatively okay, all things considered. So it kind of was in their best interest to initially slide down. Kyler Wynn, maybe not. Didn't notice 29 slide up the way he did. Brian Hennings, though, looks like he goes down by the apron. I assume. Does Brian keep it down low? Starts to slide up. Oh, man, just missed. That was John Mullihan that he just missed, but either way, by doing so, keeps that car clean, and nice job there by Brian Hennings. Fortunately, though, for everybody else, watch how quickly this thing snowballs out of control. So Rocky Boyd comes up the track. It is a mad dash for everybody to try to miss it. And man, oh man. So as they all pile up in turn 1 and 2, we talk about this trend of where we start seeing cautions breed cautions, and that can really change the way that you run a race in terms of staying out versus pitting. If you start to expect that we're just going to have a bunch of cautions, give you a couple more shots of this before we go back live. There's the 16, and didn't see that initially, but Kenny Reel, that was a hard hit for the front suspension of that race car. The 38 starts to tip over, but lands back down. There's Austin B. Floyd, 72. Stephen Parsons, he gets into the wall as well, the 54. Nowhere to go. That was Daniel Falkingham. Let's show you what this chaos looks like from the onboard view here. One of these drivers trying to miss it, especially when you're kind of in the thick of it. It's just really hard to do. I want to go to the onboard here a little bit further up. I was trying to find the 54 of Falkingham as he was right in the middle of this chaos. Here's what it looks like from his view. He's going to actually see it, and watch what he does. Sees the wreck initially. Checking up, looking for the gap, but before he finds it, just gets turned around, and it's on from there. See, as he starts to work back up the banking, gets around that secondary wreck, which was really quite interesting here to see the drivers that were involved in this second incident. I mean, this is after the wreck's already happened. You would think that everybody's kind of checking up at this point. Apparently not. Watch some of these drivers pile in really, really late on this wreck right here. They're all to halt right there. The 13, man, big hit for Elijah Fisher. And then, yeah, John Darnell actually looks like did stop before the wreck, so I think he's okay. As we go back live now, lights are off on the pace car. That means 1 to go before we get back to Green Flag Racing. 19 of 70 laps complete. And on the bottom, it's Dylan Basin and the 48 machine leading the way. Malik Ray up top. And you've got Garrett Maines and Matt Lee in row 2 with, actually, yep, sure enough. And then row 3 is going to be Landon Velicky and Richard Elliott. And then Cody Nagels, Chase Mastretta, the two Nightmare Esports teammates, back in row number 4. Nazi Major Knight, John Mullihan rounding out your top 10. But, I mean, man, for a 52-car field, you look at the drivers that have already suffered damage. Looks like we're down to 39 who are out on track right now. You see Kyler Wynn maybe with still just a little bit of front-end damage right in the center of the grill that he's going to have to get buffed out. But car looks like it should be good enough to run back at just about full pace. So, man, Baker, 3 cautions early. I mean, I know you run these races. You got to win in the PGR Series. So how would this dictate your strategy now? Do you kind of change how often you're willing to go into the pits under these cautions?
I think the track position really matters. That's the biggest point is if you're not in the top 10, it just really, really is hindering you. Everyone is fighting for every single position that they can get. They're fighting for here. I mean, you saw Kyler splitting everyone 4 wide. So I think as long as you're inside of a fuel window, you need to stay out.
Yeah, I would have to agree, especially with, these guys racing like every lap's the last lap right now. And we're not even halfway through this race just yet. We still got a ways before we're going to be to that point. All right, so here we go. Field back in the hands now of Dylan Basin and Malik Ray. And we'll see if we can get some green flag action in this time around. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. 20 laps complete. Let's go back racing at Talladega. That's a good restart for the 48, but not quite good enough, at least not yet, to jump up in front of Malik Ray. I wonder if Malik maybe cut Basin a little bit of a break right there as the 48 was able to slot up, even though it looked like the outside initially had the momentum. And watch this outside really roll if they can get together. Further back, some contact. The 97 of Axel Smith stuck in the middle. You see the 48 on the bottom. That's Devin Ray up top. John Mullahan. How about the 49 of Chris Melton trying to split the middle here? Can he make something happen as here comes the 78 of J.R. Miller as well? And all that side-by-side out back. Nothing different up front. They're still 2x2, but this time it was actually the inside that was able to get better linked up down the straightaway. And now Garrett Maines gets clear, but the 48 of Basin's going to split him. Malik Ray's going to go with the 48, and I have a feeling Garrett Maines is not going to be too pleased with that move. Watch out, though, now. Malik Ray, he gets split in the middle. They are back to 3 wide as they cross the line this time. And Malik really fell back right there. He's going to have to try to quickly find somewhere to settle back in line at. Hasn't got it yet. Oh, man, another big wiggle at the front. There they go, Nagels trying to save this one. They're going to wreck up top. Elliott will go around. Caution is back out. And this time, it's a big one off of turn 2. And who can get on the brakes this time? Some contact out back. You see the 6 of Nagels torn up. Looks like Brock Westmoreland was involved. The 23 stopped further back. Was trying to figure out exactly who that was. Looks like that was David Flanagan, the Subway Dark Horse Ford Mustang. And so the caution counter continues to go up. I'll tell you what, I had an idea pre-race that I was going to say every time we got a caution, we'd spin a wheel that had 2 options, trick or treat, and if it landed on treat, I would give an extra $1 to this race, but man, I might go broke the way cautions are going right now. 4 cautions in just 22 laps. Let's go back here and look at what goes wrong on this one. As you see the 23 there, Flanagan off of turn 4 back rolling. It all starts. I'll tell you what, Cody Nagels has been kind of in the start of a few of these wrecks now tonight. Just not been his night with the positioning that he's found himself in, as this all happens right in the middle of 1 and 2, kind of coming off of 2. So here we go. We'll start with the zoomed in view. Watch the 48 here of Dylan Basin. He's going to get up to the 6 of Nagels. And, I know we said you can do more pushing in these cars, but you still got to be careful pushing in the corners. And he hits Nagels. Nagels gets a little out of shape. And then Nagels, as he tries to save it, gets down the track into Brian Hennings.
Yeah, but you got to kind of go back a little bit before that. Cody gets to land and gets Landon out of shape. And then that stack up gets back to Basin real quick.
Now let's watch it here in full speed. I think that'll show that checkup a little bit better here. Let's actually see if we can go to an aerial shot too. All right, so watch the 62 of Elke. Lead car on the outside. This is going to be going into the corner. You see Nagels here. He's pushing his teammate. And then does Velike get just a little bit off? Oh, yeah, right there. So it's maybe a little bit of a sour push from Nagels to his teammate that gets Velike a little out of shape. And then, of course, the natural reaction to that, yeah, right there. See how Cody gets just a little bit offset left? The natural reaction to that is, let off the gas so he can save it. And then, as Baker just noted, yeah, that checkup quickly translates out back to Basin. And then from there, it's just everybody trying to save it, and they can't quite find a way to do it. And instead, they wreck him up big time. Brock Westmoreland slides back up the track, and, you had just about, seemed like 2 or 3 moving chicanes back on the racetrack there as everybody was trying to save it and dodge the wreck. As Dylan, I believe that's Dylan Jones on the bottom there, might have some pretty heavy damage. Let's go back and look. And again, these guys, when they're back in the Cup cars, it's a lot different paint schemes than what we're used to seeing. And so that was not Dylan Jones. That is why I wanted to double check. I believe that was, thinking of an old scheme that Jones used to run. So we'll see if we can figure out exactly who that was after we go back and look at this here from a different angle. I'll show you this.
There's a guy up in the top 10. Actually, P5 guy I've never seen out here before. His name is Rob Pickle. I like that name.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Rob Pickle, hey, we got to mention him earlier. He was trying to work his way through the field. And so far, so good. He's got that goal. There's the TV2 shot. Elliott, as he spins down, I don't think he gets a ton of damage here. And then doesn't look like anybody up front. That was actually J.R. Miller that we saw with that paint scheme, 78. So as we get another caution sorted out, we will go back live, where it looks like the lights on the pace car are still on. 23 of 70 laps complete here at Talladega. And up front, leading the way, the 82 of Minotzi Major. Malik Ray second, Garrett Maines third, Devin Ray in fourth. And then, as Baker just noted, Rob Pickle up 33 positions as he currently rounds out your top 5. So Rob Pickle, by the way, not the only driver making their first PGR start here tonight. Seemed like we had a couple. And don't forget that there was a bonus here tonight. In fact, we'll go and head over to those payouts here in just a moment. In fact, let's go do that now so that everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. So here's what the payouts are looking like here tonight. This was based off of 45 entries, and we had a couple more than that. So it was 300 to first, 250 to second, 200 to third, 150 to fourth, and 125 to fifth. But there's that big bonus that a lot of drivers who are thinking about running these races but haven't yet kind of made them pull the trigger to join here tonight. $85 to the highest finisher without a PGR win. As it stands right now, I believe that would be Minotzi Major, of course, and then the next highest running driver without a PGR win after that, I believe, would be Devin Ray, followed by Rob Pickle in fifth. So as it stands, a lot of opportunity here for a lot of drivers to make really good money. And Baker, I mean, my question is, if a driver that doesn't have a PGR win wins this race, do they get that bonus too?
No, so it'll be the first driver outside of the money that is the highest finishing driver without a PGR win.
All right, there you go. That answers that question. By the way, we do have a couple of onboard driver cams here tonight. Haven't had a chance to really introduce them yet during the green flag racing, so we'll go ahead and do it while we are sitting here under caution. First up, as always, Jeff Merck carrying an onboard view for us. And then we have a new one here tonight, and that is Raymond Hanneman in the 85. There's those two side by side. Raymond looking for a good run here tonight. He's already been involved in a few incidents. And then there's Jeff Merck, as again, he is looking to see if he can find victory lane himself here tonight. And so 25 of 70 complete. This will now take the next pace stop, or excuse me, not pace stop, pit stop, to right around, looks like, if I had to guess, maybe right around lap 50 would be my general estimate. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on how much you save. And so if that's the case, then this should now only be a one-stop race from here, as long as they can make it, you know, you figure they can make it at least probably 22 laps.
Yeah, I'm
so
looking
I
at 23, 24 in the draft.
Okay, so yeah, so sure enough, then they should be good to go on a one-stop here to the finish, assuming it stays green, as Kenny Real lets us know in the chat that he is killed from damage in that last wreck. So that eliminates another big hitter. In fact, right now it's looking like we have 40-something cars still on the lead lap, so we've eliminated almost 10 already. As here we go. Field in the hands of Minotzi Major. Watch for him to fire off here a little bit early. Green flag back in the air. The 82 does the opposite. He fires off as late as he can, and that's going to allow the outside of Malik Ray, getting pushed by Devin Ray, to get a better restart. And it did not take them long to get organized either. Look at that. Already 3x3 tandem. 3 on the bottom, 3 up top. And then the double file lines trying to play catch up behind. Matt Lee quickly going to pull to the high side. Looks like the 24, Caden Dieterich, thought about going with him. And oh, another big block that gets the 80 sideways. That caused a bit of a stack up. Looks like they're all going to save it this time. And man, Baker, you know, what am I missing here? I know there's a lot of money on the line tonight, but to fight for the money, you got to make it to the end. We are seeing some really questionable moves right now.
Yeah, a one off on the apron. Garrett Maines gets Minotzi Major. He tries to come back in front. Doesn't make it happen. Good save by him. That's going to kill the bottom line. But, you know, it's just the speed delta of this car. People aren't used to it. And they got to get used to it if they want to have a nice, clean race here to the end. Oh, man. Wrecking out back. 2 around.
2 around. We'll see if it draws the caution. Yes, it does. Caution is out as we see 3 of them. Looks like the 97, the 31. That's Joshua McCullough in the 31 who was involved. And then Bobby Rachal. And it looks like the 97, of course, Axel Smith. I'm not sure if these cars really got any damage on this wreck. But another caution. And, you know, it's the other thing that we don't really talk about, though, is when you get this many cautions, it becomes harder and harder to settle into a rhythm. I mean, we want these drivers, obviously, to get to a point where they can kind of get comfortable with the pushes in those runs, as Baker just said. But, when you keep getting cautioned, you don't really get that chance to try to feel out what the runs can do and try to, change up your strategy a little bit. But here we go. So watch Axel Smith here, the 97. Let's see what happens to him right here. As, actually, this was this? Yeah, here we go. Let's change this view up a little bit. All right, so here we go. The contact had already occurred at this point. And watch it from TV3 first. So they're 3 wide. They're 4 wide out back. Here comes D3, Daniel Eberhard, trying to shoot the middle. And then the 31 of Joshua McCullough. Does he just come down there? It kind of looked like he did. Let's watch it from the chopper view. I wonder if Josh maybe didn't recognize that he was 4 wide there, because he wasn't for a minute, but Eberhard gets a big run. Let's see. So Josh, you see his left side tires on the white line. The 97 kind of hanging in the middle. And then, yeah, the 97 maybe creeps up a little bit, but it certainly looks like Joshua McCullough is moving down quite a bit right there through the tri-oval. And once he moves down, he just gets into him. They get together. The 97 bounces off of Daniel Eberhard and then comes back down, collects the 30 of James Wagner right there. And then you see the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. He piles in with nowhere to go. And there's the 38 of Gordon Spain as well, as he also had nowhere to hide from that one. Give you a couple different angles of this one here. This was, by the way, towards the back of the field. As Eberhard, nice job there when he got hit in the side to keep that car straight. For Vicente, that's a pretty good front shot to the grill. Same for Gordon Spain. I think those would arguably be the 2 cars that I'd be most worried about here in this wreck. And then the 97 of Axel Smith. I'm not sure if he actually makes contact with the inside wall right here, if he was able to save it at the last second. You see the 97 there gets turned again, and yep, sure enough, he was able to keep it off the inside wall. So a nice job right there by Axel Smith to minimize damage in that one. Meanwhile, as we go back live, 28 to 70 laps complete. Back up front, Malik Rabing scored as your leader, Devin Ray in second. And you've got Perrin Huggins up 9 positions from where he started this race at. Currently sits in that 3rd position. And I think that I've mistaken Perrin Huggins a few times tonight with Matt Lee. Very similar paint schemes. Huggins, though, more of a purple, green, and black, where Matt Lee's a little bit more of a silver, green, and black. So 2 similar looking paint schemes, 2 very talented drivers that we've got in the field here tonight. And then you've got Landon Velicki back in 6th, Jeff Merck in 5th. Can't forget about him. Kyler Wynn's up here inside the top 5 as well. Chandler Parsons in 7th. And you've got Matt Lee 8th, John Mullihan 9th, and Raymond Handyman rounding out your top 10. All right, well, as we clean up another virtual accident here at Talladega, we're going to go ahead and take our first break of the night. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Talladega.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, we got
Monkey is prime!
this season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's
that's good.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Three by three.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. To the finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway, getting ready to go back green. And there is Jeff Merck and Raymond Handyman, two of the drivers right in the thick of this pack. And they know that things are getting ready to get crazy as they've already been so far here tonight. So we'll try yet again for another green flag run. Here we go. It'll be 30 of 70 laps complete. That puts us just 5 away from halfway. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega. And a good restart from the 7 of Malik Ray, and that's really been the strategy that we've seen from the drivers for the most part on these restarts is whoever's on the bottom, they get a good jump and they immediately jump up top because, again, you want to cover that run before it gets charged up too much. And now that's going to put Malik Ray with Devin Ray and Kyler Wynn. And last I heard, rumors said that Malik Ray and Kyler Wynn have been working with the Jack Shack drivers lately. Devin Ray, of course, one of the Jack Shack drivers. So if that is true, then that might be why they're going to stay single file up here at the top for a little bit. Further back here, Chase Mastretta reports through the grass, and guess what? Yeah, that's right. Caution is back out again. And looking for what causes this one, as it was Chase Mastretta that showed up initially on our little data tower here as going through the grass, I believe. But the 8 car seems to be fine. So he's going to get back rolling. He'll get back on track. Go back, take a look at it. 6th caution of the night. And 30 laps of racing. You do the math there. Let's see here. So this is... Oh, this starts a little bit further up, actually. And is that Caden Dieterich, one of the cars that had to scatter right there at the end? Let's go up a little bit. It looks like Richard Elliott was potentially involved in this in the 02. Yeah, sure enough, he was. That was James Waring that he gets collected with in the 05 Miami Hurricanes machine. So this is going down the backstretch, and we'll show you this first from the chopper view. And let's see here. You see the 02 getting pushed in the middle? And he's got a big run here. They're coming up on the 13 really quickly, and Garrett just jumps out. And again, another situation where, you know, I'm not in the car, so I can't tell you, but I wonder I don't think the contact from Garrett caused anything right there. I was trying to figure out if Elliott moved up, or does the 05 move down, or is it a little bit of both here?
Looks like the 05 moves down a little bit more than the
yeah, I agree.
02 for sure.
Definitely. You saw Richard Elliott, the right sides maybe moved a little bit off that white line, but they did not move much. The 05 James Waring up top, did he get a push that moved him down? No, it doesn't look like it. Just creeps down and creates that contact that leads to that issue, and then Richard Elliott eventually gets turned all the way around into the wall. And they slide up top before eventually straightening it back out. So again, the good news right there, and then you see Chase Mastretta going through the grass, but the good news for most of these incidents, I know we've seen a couple of big ones, but even though we've had a lot of cautions, we haven't had a lot of damaging cautions, at least not in the last couple.
Is that good news or bad news? I don't know.
Well, that's a good point, but I mean, I think it's got to be good news, obviously, if you're one of the drivers in the field, because, you know, you figure, well, if a lot of drivers haven't gotten torn up, I can stay aggressive. But no, I agree, Baker. You're thinking of it as, you know, if we keep having these wrecks, but there's not a lot of drivers getting taken out, then it's kind of just wasting laps, right? Because you don't get to move up any positions because no drivers were taken out, and instead, you just click off some of the laps that you could be running under green to try to get to the front. And look at that. Boy, Chase Mastretta, did he get some airtime right there? Let's watch this again. Watch him here as he goes through the grass. Watch the airtime that he's going to get right here. See if I can show you this in slow motion. Right as he hits the grass, the transition from the asphalt to the grass. Right there. Look at that. All 4 tires off the ground just briefly. Mastretta ramps it up. All right, back live we go. 32 to 70 laps complete. And right now, pace car has led the most so far. Malik Ray, he is currently being scored as your race leader, though. Up 41 positions from where he started this race at. Devin Ray second, Kyler Wynn third. Trevor Osmanoff for the Jack Shack. He is now up to fourth. Good run going for Trevor right now. Dylan Basin is back in fifth. And then Christopher Carter, another great run from a Jack Shack driver early. They seem to be kind of the most dominant team at this point in the race. And Sierra Clampert, she's up inside the top 10 in seventh. As Rob Pickle looking for where he went. I saw in the chat that somebody said, get back to the front. He said, I don't think so. And Rob Pickle, yeah, streaming on Twitch. Make sure you go check him out. And if anybody's got the link and you want to put it in the chat, by all means, feel free to do it. Rob Pickle, believe this is his first race in PGR, and he's been doing a heck of a job so far here tonight. I know we're not supposed to root for people up here in the booth, Baker, but I think me and you are kind of rooting for the 25 here tonight. All right, so as they get ready to go back green, man, I feel like I need to play the Michael Myers music or something right now, the way things have been going, but unfortunately copyright strike's not going to allow for that either way. It's still, I mean, it's Halloween. We're out here having a good time, regardless of caution. Seems like everybody in the chat's having some fun. So again, hopefully everybody out there watching is having a good Halloween as we approach 11:30 Eastern here on the East Coast. And so if you're Malik Ray, actually really the rest of the field at this point, it looks like 33 of 70 laps complete. You figure now they're going to make it to probably right around lap 57, maybe a couple, so maybe 55 or so on fuel. And so at that rate, you can make it still on a one stop, but kind of takes a little bit more of the strategy play out of it in terms of really no saving to be done. All right. So as it stands right now, 6 cautions in 33 laps. You got to remember that a lot of those 33 laps have been under caution. So we have not got to really see kind of the true potential of what these cars can do on the long run when tires start to wear out. We're hoping to get that potentially this time around. By the way, quick reminder, next place that we head here on PGR Esports tomorrow night to the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Xfinity Series as they make a stop at Iowa Speedway. Make sure you check that one out. Stop in and say hi. We certainly appreciate it. All right, Danny Barnes says this should have been a drunk broadcast. Would have been more entertaining. Well, Danny, I'll tell you what. If I had to do a drunk broadcast, tonight would have been the one. I have to agree with that one. And I think Baker would have tuned in as well. So we'll keep that in mind for future reference, but you can't predict him before you actually see him. Nonetheless, here we go. In terms of trick or treat, it's been all trick so far. But man, track position has been king, Baker. I mean, you said it. I just get nervous if I'm up front to pit on any of these cautions unless I really run out of fuel or that final fuel window opens, because, I mean, it's not that you can't get back up to the front from the back. It's been that trying to get up there without wrecking has been the tricky part. Green flag back in the air. 34 of 70 laps complete, just about now at the halfway point in tonight's race, and it was a good restart for Malik Ray. And look at that. You talk about team coordination. They're going to jump up in front of the 2 Jack Shack teammates, and that puts all 4 of them in a line a little bit further back. Also trying to roll up on that top lane is Sierra Clamper. She's got a good-looking car here tonight, and she's going to get a push. Ooh, man, the 48, big jump up top. That was Dylan Basin. Now that's going to stack them up. A couple drivers have to shoot to the middle as they're all trying to save it now. Oh, man, Brock Westmoreland, he got split 4 wide in the 4 car. Traveled further back. There they go again. You want it, you got it. They're going to wreck them up big time again in turn 3. Caution is back out for the 7th time here tonight. And it looks like trying to get back here to the cars that were actually involved, one of them being the 84 of Dalton Steele. And it looks like the 888 of Bobby Rachal, the other car involved, as the 84 will roll down the banking, try to get that car righted and back in the right direction here. All right, well, let's go back and look at what brings out your 7th caution. And it's just kind of more of the same in the sense of just, I mean, everybody has got to take a breather here. I don't really know what else to say about it here. It's not anybody doing anything just stupid. It's just too aggressive for where we're at right now in the run. And Baker said kind of what's been dictating this is just these cars, the runs you get are so big that, and we don't run them that much. So all of a sudden we get back in them, and I think a lot of guys are just not really kind of coordinated and calibrated for what to expect when they've got a big run and where to go for it. But this is going to start right around the 82 of Minazzi Major. And let's see here. So watch goes to give a push to the back. In fact, let's zoom this in just a little bit here for you. So going to give a push to the back of Christopher Carter. And that's going to start the checkup out back. And checkup, boy, you've heard me say that a lot here tonight. And it happens yet again. Watch it here. He'll play it nice and slow. Checkup from the 82 and the 25 goes back to the 49 of, I believe that's Chris Melton. And then the 82 gets turned down the track into the 24 of Caden Dieterich. And then it's on from there. Wow, that was a big hit for Garrett Maines. And oh, man, Rob Pickle involved in this one. Unfortunately, one of the fan favorites of the night. Pretty significant damage, I do say. As I was trying to look here, Garrett Maines, he took a big shot as well. I got to think his right front suspension is pretty messed up as well. As this was kind of, not a three-part wreck, but three kind of groups all wrecking at the same time once it started here. Watch again. We'll show you this here from TV3. Watch Garrett Maines here. Sneaks through initially, but then, ooh, the 25 of Rob Pickle actually got turned up. And the question is, how does the 25 get turned up right here? Does he get some help? I think he does. Watch John Mullihan here. Rob Pickle dives to the apron and, in fact, gets all the way on the flat. And then they're trying to save it. Mullihan just gets into the back of him, turns Pickle up the racetrack. He gets into Garrett as you see Jones sliding down. That was a big hit. But Garrett Maines, Brock Westmoreland slides in the 23. I mean, we might not even be capturing all the cars that were involved in this wreck. Mullihan, he took a big shot late after the fact. Watch this here again from TV1. John Mullihan, after that initial contact, is going to get... No, he's trying to save it. And gets a little help there. From the 85, a handyman who was also trying to miss it, turned back up. Wow, that was a huge hit for John Mullihan. That car almost went over. That front nose contact. Show you this again from the zoomed-in view. In fact, we'll see if we can show you a couple of these different shots. First up was Minazzi Major here as he gets turned up. Next up was Garrett Maines. And then last but certainly not least in this wreck, John Mullihan. Watch this hit, as that was the 11 of Perrin Huggins who got into him. And look at that hit. With a 6 car with all 4 tires coming up off the ground. Dalton Steele, we saw eventually come to a halt. And so another caution is going to click off a few more laps. And slowly we're getting closer to that potential of not seeing any green flag pit stops. But the way things are going right now, CD8 at Chase Mistretta, boy, he had a heavy hit. Not sure where he got this from. Got to assume in that first group that was kind of wrecking here. Watch the onboard for Chase Mistretta. He'll start wrecking, and then, yeah, they just come up right in front of him. Nowhere to go as he tries to dive low, makes contact with a few more cars. It's hit again by Maines and Vicente Guerrero. So this one, Baker, this one might actually take out a few. I know I was saying we had a couple
Garrett
wrecks.
said he's got 14 minutes are required.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, I know we had a couple wrecks that didn't really take out drivers, but this one certainly did. And it does finally push us over that halfway slump. So we'll go ahead and put the first half to the side. Maybe we get something different here the second half. As lights are off on the pace car, Malik Ray out in front. 29 of Kyler Wynn up top. 48 of Devin Ray and his teammate Trevor Osmanoth row 2. You've got Dylan Basin and Elijah Fisher. Actually, excuse me, Dylan Basin, yep, and Elijah Fisher back in row 3. Dylan Basin, by the way, one of the drivers who often runs on sponsors from other drivers. And boy, if you're looking for a guy to gamble on, Dylan Basin just seems like he is always at the front. He's up 8 positions from where he started this race. That run inside the top 5. Fisher and Clampert, great runs going for those two. And then handyman Brian Hennings and Chandler Parsons back inside the top 10 as well. Austin B. Floyd back in 12th. All right. 37 of 70 laps complete. And so if you're Kyler Wynn here, Baker, I mean, you can see that front end flatten out just a little bit. Do you think that affects him here being out in front? And Baker right now tending to some of his race control obligations. So we'll ask him about that when he comes back. In fact, we may not have to because we're about to find out. Again, it's not much, but you can just see just kind of how subtly, right there, how it goes across the camera. The 29, the front nose, isn't bent in, but it's still flattened. In fact, maybe a little bit of rear end damage there by the spoiler as well, potentially. But I think he'll be okay. All right, let's see what happens here. Green flag is back in the air. 38 of 70 laps complete. As we continue to get closer and closer to that final fuel window, they're going to split it up here throughout the top 10 as Clamper dives low. Ozernoff is going to stay high. Chandler Parsons does as well. And the outside's rolling right now, but a little bit more organization, a little bit more help down low. Question is, who's going to get the run here down the backstretch? Looks like the run is all the 7 of Malik Ray and the 48 of Devin Ray on the bottom. Dylan Basin finally going to get locked up with Sierra Clampert now. But this bottom is just not moving yet. They're going to really have to figure something out soon, or they are going to get buried. Dylan Basin, not much he can do. And the disadvantage of being on the bottom is you really can't go up to get a side draft. It just doesn't work that way. Whereas if you're on the bottom, you can do that. You can come down and, of course, side draft the bottom if they start to get a run. Now, we haven't had a chance to see much of that tonight because, of course, we haven't had enough green flag racing to. But how about Ron Morris Jr. here? He's trying to go back to the front with a little damage on the right front. He will run alongside Rob Pickle, who's back up to 28. Joshua McCullough. John Darnell in the 99. Remember, after avoiding that early incident, he is now almost back inside the top 25. So the 99 of Darnell trying everything he can to get back to the front of this field. We'll see if he can make it happen here. So as it stands right now, up front, still 2x2. The inside's finally started to make some significant headways. Out back, they're checking up. Oh boy, we got one on the apron here trying to save it again this time. I believe that was the 13 of Elijah Fisher. That's exactly what it was. Heck of a save right there. There's now some more contact between the 23 here of David Flanagan. And another car here looks like the 70 of Jimmy Emos is going to fade back a few spots. So all that chaos out back, looks like they're going to get it sorted out, at least for now. Up front, 3 wide, and guess who leading the middle now? One of the Contender Series drivers. Actually, I believe Daniel Falkingham is still a Coke Series driver. I take that back. And, of course, one of the College Series drivers. Yeah, there you go. So Daniel Falkingham, one of the Coke Series drivers in the field, trying to get up here and now get his name in the hat. And, oh, man, Dylan Basin with a bit of a block on Clamper. But did you see that move that Sierra Clamper just made to get Dylan Basin to the front? What a push that was. And now Clamper in great position here. Malik Ray pushing her, and there's a little bit of bad blood between these two, so we'll see how well this goes over, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Malik try to make a move on that 7 car at some point. Excuse me, that 47 car at some point. As now Falkingham pushing Brian Hennings to the lead on the bottom. How about this? Hennings involved in an accident earlier, but now he will go to the point, as I think this is now officially our longest run under green so far here tonight, as we have completed 41 of 70 laps. Brian Hennings still on the bottom, but he's really going to need a big push here and hope that it's enough to get clear to the top. Question is, can he bring Falkingham with him? We see a 3-car tandem work down the straights. Not so much in the corner. And look at those 3 cars up top, right as I say it. They're going to pull at least 2 of them clear here. Malik Ray and the 48 of Basin, but they will not drop low. Tent to stay up top for now. Baker, looks like we've had a bit of a separation in the pack here. What do you make of this?
Hey, we got a green flag run going on right now. I told him that I'm paying out 2 random positions outside of the money, $50 if they can go green.
Well, there you go. Hey, sometimes all they need is a little bit of motivation. So we'll see if that works out. But there you go. Matthew Baker coming in clutch as race control to try to get this thing under control. And so that'll increase the payouts a little more if these guys can keep it green and clean the rest of the way. Dylan Basin still leads up top. Hennings on the bottom. The 7 of Malik Ray and the 48 of Devin Ray still up top, and going back to some of these drivers kind of hanging back a little bit. Raymond Handyman, one of the drivers who's carrying an onboard view for us here tonight. Let's hop on board and see what it's looking like from the virtual and real life cockpit of the 85 machine. And there's Raymond as it stands right now, trying to pull even on the bottom with the 25 of Christopher Carter. Carter with the Bob Ross paint scheme. That's a cool looking car. See the 29 of Kyler Wynn stuck on the outside as well. And as we put the driver cam away and open up the dashboard, let's go up a little bit further here to Jeff Merck. Look at the speeds that these guys are running. This is back in the pack. This isn't even at the front where they don't have to worry about checkups. 200 miles an hour before he got off into turn number 1. And again, up front, they probably run even a little bit faster than that. But Jeff Merck, stressful spot to be in right now for the NBG Motorsports veteran. Doesn't have any teammates out here tonight, but he is still working to do whatever he can to try to get up here and get in the money. When it's only a top 5 payout for the amount of drivers we have here tonight, it's a tough ask, but we'll see if Jeff Merck can make it happen. All right, let's go to these front two now and show you the speeds I'm talking about. Brian Hennings on the bottom. Is he locked up with somebody here? No, he's not. Instead, it's going to be the 7 of Malik Ray who's getting pushed. Look at the speeds here. 194, 200 on the bottom now for Dylan Basin. Actually, he's running the top. And the more speed, the more fuel you burn. Wow, Dylan Basin, Baker, that split to the middle. I don't know if that was the right move to make. The 48's falling back. Dylan Basin, is he going to find a spot to drop in line? Nah, that doesn't look like it. Daniel Falkingham, though, up front. He's going to take the point and jump to the top. A little 2-for-1 right there. Nice move by Falkingham. And when you get a driver like that in front of you that you know you can really push it, it makes the guys behind a little bit more comfortable to just kind of ride around because they know that that lane's not going to fade. As long as, of course, the lead pusher's also doing their job, which in this case is Brian Hennings, but Malik Ray says, I don't think so. He'll jump back to the top. Falkingham has to cover, and that will hang Brian Hennings out, and he is going to go all the way to the back. Osronoff will split him as well. They go 4 wide through the tri-oval. As Osronoff is going to pull clear. Hennings going to have to fall back in line somewhere. Ooh, tried to sneak in behind the 4. Brock Westmoreland couldn't quite do it. Will James Wagner catch him? No, he won't, and now Hennings is going to have to settle for trying to work with Trevor Osronoff here. And those two are going to jump back in line. And, man, when you go to the back here, it's not like the Xfinity and trucks where you can just kind of, quickly catch the draft back. I mean, if you don't drop in line pretty much the second you get back there, there's a chance you lose the draft. Wow, that was a close moment right there for Christopher Carter, I believe, who got into the outside wall after some contact. It was a good save. You saw the aggressive move as well down the backstretch by Sierra Clamper to jump to the bottom. Fortunately, that move has not panned out too well, at least not yet. As looks like the 04 of Matt Lee and the 60 of Jeff Merck, though. They're going to jump down to the bottom. Wynn looks for a side draft. Nothing doing. Now he'll get split to the middle. 25 of Carter goes down there, but Velicki's going to stay high. 25 laps to go now. Christopher Carter still trying to side draft this top lane. Look to see if he can find anywhere in line to jump in. Ooh, bit of a checkup out back right there. That was a close call. The 10 had to get out of the gas, it looked like. I say the 10, I believe. I thought that was the 10. No, that's the 30 of James Wagner, who's been in a few incidents. Cody Nagels, John Darnell, and a couple others have now recaught this lead pack. As you see, there's the one of Stephen Miles, who we haven't had a chance to mention here tonight. At least not yet, but one of the Nightmare Esports drivers who has shown a lot of speed when we've seen him out here. Good to see Stephen back in the field here tonight. Miles right now is not gained or lost any positions from where he started this race at. Flanagan, Joshua McCullough, and Ron Morris Jr. Currently the cars rounding out this lead pack. Then the second pack right now is being led by Evan Carlbon, who sits about 8.7 seconds behind the back bumper of Ron Morris Jr. And that gap has not closed up, at least not yet. So at this rate, they're gonna have to hope that they get a caution. Otherwise, I just don't know if they're gonna make that back up. And watch out. This is getting tight now down the backstretch. Looks like they almost go 4 wide. As further back, things started to get stacked up. It looks like they all get it back together now. So things will settle back down to at least 2 and 3 wide for now as Wagner and Basin split up top. Big checkup up top. Oh, man. How did Velicki and Vicente Guerrero hold on to those race cars? Same for Jeff Merck. That was a lot of pushing and shoving right there. Malik and Kyler now in control of the front 2 lines. Malik on the bottom, Kyler up top. Falkingham trying to make another run through the middle. And I'll tell you what, him and Brian Hennings have been working together a few times here tonight. And if they can get back to the front here again, that's got to become the duo that you keep your eye on here, because that means they've got pretty good chemistry. And they're not teammates. They've just found each other here in the race, and it's been working out pretty well, at least so far.
Oh, man, look at this tandem up top here with Merck and Kyler. It's going to die out, though, 4 on the bottom. But here comes Velicki to the back bumper with Vicente. He's going to check up. Topside's going to roll. Kyler went through a massive block last time towards the top side. Merck didn't lift. He came to the comments and said, I'm not lifting for your ass, and I'll wreck you the next time you do it.
And I'm looking here at Kyler Wynn. He's got some rear end damage.
Pit stops.
Pit stop, sure enough. On cue. And the CPU here is starting to struggle a little bit, so give it just a moment here. I apologize. As first pit stops of the night, it's going to be Kyler Wynn and a few others. So what we're going to do as this works itself out, we will take a quick break. We'll be back. Stick with us at Talladega.
played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
All right, welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway. You see everything currently booting back up. We'll give it all just a moment here. As Teresa Spiker, I was reading the chat, she put it best. Yeah, as we see pit stops happening now, my CPU had to do the same thing. It had to take a pit stop in of itself, but here we go. As we still have a couple out, but this is a big group right here that's bringing it down now. Looks like they all get in clean. Baker, while we were gone, though, we saw a couple pit stops and a few speeding penalties as well. Saw a couple notable names, it looked like.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Brian Hennings hit the cone. Cody Nagels looks like he was going to be quick through his box. He got out fine, but now this is spreading out the field. Who had the best pit stops? We're going to see here. Cody Nagels did have a penalty. He's going to have to come back down and serve it now.
It's a big and unfortunate mistake for the Nightmare Esports driver. Here we go. Still waiting
and
on.
he locks it up too.
Still waiting on a couple of pit stops here. Let's see if these guys decide. 19 laps to go, by the way. Yep, here we go. We're going to see that final round of pit stops right here. And it's going to be James Wagner, 72 of Chandler Parsons, and the 85 of Hanneman. And let's see if these three can get out as quick as everybody else did. Evan Carlbaum, by the way, who was leading that second pack, has not pit yet either. He's working with Dalton Steele, Rob Pickle. It looks like Pickle's now going to bring it down to the pits. Mark Vondell leading that third pack with Ron Morse Jr. And then Daniel Falkingham, Matt Lee. And these are the two that the leaders are going to be catching here, and that is a pretty big pack that is roaring down on them quick right here. Still 2x2 now, though, as they're going to get clear Landon Velicki. And, man, with a run this big, Baker, it's not like the Xfinity cars where you can maybe try to block a lane. They're going to fly right by. There goes Malik Ray on the inside.
I mean, completely blew by them. Falkingham trying to go down to side draft. But that's the JSR cars working with Kyler and Trevor. Christopher Melton's going all the way upstairs. He's going to go a lap down here, but 2x2 here for the lead with a second pack behind them trying to track them down.
And so, again, this is the final green flag stop. Boy, that was a huge shot to the back of Trevor Osnoff. But this is the final green flag stop. Final pit stop we're expecting, unless, of course, we get a late caution. So let's look at what some of these gaps are, because this is what's going to matter here. This lead pack's still forming up to become one kind of big lead pack, and it looks like Parsons and Parsons and Hanneman are trying to hang on. Joshua McCullough, Vicente Guerrero leading the second big pack, trying to do the same. If that group cannot catch, and it stays as it is with this lead pack right now, you're looking at about 16 to 17 cars. And Baker, I would think that with all the chaos we've seen tonight, if I'm this lead pack, I'm just kind of, the unspoken communication agreeing to just ride in line here and try to make speed so that it can be 16 cars battling for 5 positions versus, another 40.
Yeah, and you just saw the move there from Kyler Wynn. He went all the way downstairs. Oh, one out of shape towards the back. Big save, holy cow. But you saw Malik go and check up the field there on the top line while Kyler went all the way around.
That was Caden Dieterich, by the way, who had that massive save right there on the back. He's up 2 spots from where he started this race out, but it looks like that's going to cost him this lead pack. May pull Brock Westmoreland off the tail end as well. We'll see if he can hold on. As Evan Carlbaum, Dalton Steele, and Mark Vondell still yet to make a pit stop, and neither has Ron Morse Jr. So your top 4 have not gone in for their final stop for fuel just yet, but they're going to have to eventually here, otherwise they're going to run out of fuel. With just 16 laps to go. And the first real single file action we've seen tonight since we missed it at the start. Let's get it in now. How about a little crank it up here at Talladega? Here we go. In trouble here, and caution is out. Right as we just went to our crank it up segment, you saw John Darnell in trouble right there. One more car involved. So Darnell, for this one, he is going to get a little bit of damage, and it's going to be in the left front. Bringing around here, was trying to figure out exactly who the other car involved was. And these two are kind of running like it was single file, just kind of with them, you know, yeah, it was just Brock and Darnell here, kind of as I thought. Well, maybe not when the actual contact occurred. And yeah, no, the contact starts in the pack up here. And this was, I believe, the second pack. Don't believe this was the lead pack. And watch here. Let's see. So based off where these drivers were running, then you go up front to where Kyler Wynn and company was running. Yeah, I guess this was actually the lead pack. Yeah, sure enough it was. It was just behind the lead pack, I should say. So it was the second group. All right, so let's go back to that chopper cam now and watch out, because here's John Darnell here. He's going to be on the inside line, and as they work down the back, Brock Westerman's up top. And Darnell, you know, he's following the 23. I don't think he realized that Brock Westerman was there, kind of that tunnel vision. We talk about it. We see it once in a while as a driver. You're so focused on the car in front of you and following their line that you just don't realize that there's a car there. And yeah, Brock was there, and you can see from the cockpit view, Darnell just never realizes it. And once he gets into him, it's on from there. It's not major damage for either car, it doesn't look like, but, you know, I'm sure Brock's probably not too happy. And the 99 right there is going to get pretty significant left front damage. Brock probably going to get left front damage as well. And that little secondary hit there on the wall for John Darnell. And then if we watch this here from a couple different angles here, first off, I want to watch this on the drone cam. Just kind of after the incident took place, you know, this pack had been trying to catch. They were doing a pretty good job. So, you know, I thought they'd be kind of single filed out, but just nothing doing there. Great job, though, for everybody else to miss it. You see the 888 right there, Rachal. He made a little bit of contact, the rear bumper of Westmoreland, but overall, certainly could have been a lot worse. So good job minimizing the damage right there. And then if we look at the gearbox view here, John Darnell, before we go back live and up front, we see him just drift over a little bit. There's the nose cam. Following in line, never realizes it, and works on from there. All right, so as we go back live, Darnell going to get that damage fixed up. He'll be back out with still a shot at it. And it looks like we're going to go back green with probably about 11 laps to go. And now that we're good on fuel, boy, things are really about to get crazy. But it is Kyler Wynn being scored up front, Malik Ray second, Devin Ray third, Daniel Falkingham in fourth, and Matt Lee rounding out your top five. All right, we're going to go ahead and take another quick break, but we'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. We'll be back for the restart here at Talladega.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created Drink Company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We want pride! We want pride! Ladies and gentlemen, we got this season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time!
Oh, that's good.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
3x3.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. To the finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
We're back to Talladega Super Speedway. There's another view of the two driver cams here tonight. Raymond Handyman and Jeff Merck. Jeff Merck, you see in the 60, he's got himself up here with a pretty good shot at it. Raymond Handyman going to be trying to do the same. He's got a little bit more work to do, though, as well, we put a poll out on if we go green the rest of the way, and as of right now, it looks like the option of absolutely no chance is winning. We'll have to see how well that plays out, but here we go. It'll be 11 laps to go. Everybody's good on fuel. Everybody's good on tires. And now that pay window starts to creep open. Who wants the big money here tonight on Halloween? We're getting ready to find out. Green flag is back in the air. 11 laps to go at Talladega, and it's a good restart for the 29 of Kyler Wynn. He's going to try to pull Devin Ray with him up to the top of the racetrack. Sure enough, they do. And that's going to line up those Jack Shack teammates 1, 2, 3 now. Here comes the 04 of Matt Lee on the bottom. Daniel Falkingham, what is he going to do? I think that's one of the drivers to watch. Maybe try to jump out of line further back. And Baker, this is the point where we start seeing more blocks being thrown, even from what we saw earlier. And really, if you're on this outside, you have got to defend that wall. If you give any sort of a lane above you, guys are going to take it.
Yeah, the top side again rolling. They've got Devin Ray mates with Kyler Wynn tonight. Turn for the lead just as we talk about it. He saves it barely, but they're all going to wreck behind him.
Oh, we got one over. Back on all four wheels quickly, though, is Joshua McCullough and the 31 who slides down as they continue to wreck out back. Chandler Parsons. And I guess I can go ahead and bring that poll to an end now. And man, big damage on a couple of these cars here. The 84. Just looking at the damage here, but it's Joshua McCullough who I think might have got the worst of that one. We saw him, of course, go up and over. That almost looked like the Tony Stewart flip back at Talladega in the Car of Tomorrow era. We'll have to go back and look at that one a couple times. It's Joshua McCullough. I'm surprised this thing is back rolling. This is already incredible enough in and of itself, but it started with a wicked save from Kyler Wynn, who got turned out of the lead, and then unfortunately, you know, just as he gets out back, it wasn't Kyler's fault here once he gets out back, but it's just guys trying to avoid him that end up wrecking here. So watch this. He's getting pushed by the 48 of Devin Ray. These two are working together, by the way. If that doesn't tell you how aggressive these drivers are pushing, I don't know what does. Kyler's got a little bit of rear end damage. I don't know if this contributes to that, but you can see Devin just gets him just a little bit offset left, and it almost didn't look like he was on his bumper, but I think that's because of the damage. Is, yeah, Devin just maybe just ever, and I mean ever so slightly offset to the left, but, you know, when you push a guy in the corner, if you're offset at all, that's the result you're going to get. Kyler does a heck of a job to save this race car. Let's show you this again from the chopper view first off here. All right, so watch this. Full speed gets turned down. Look at the save. I mean, that is just, I don't know how he does that, but he saves it, but then it's further back. And we see that second incident take place right here. As, watch the checkups here. And we'll go to the onboard view first here for Joshua McCullough, because he's actually going to see this. And that's kind of part of the reaction here of, you know, he starts checking up because he knows that they're getting ready to wreck. So watch it here. He's going to see the 29 get turned down right there. sees it, goes to the middle, checks up a little bit, and then as he starts fading back, just some contact is what ultimately sets that one off. And that contact actually starts here with 72 of Chandler Parsons here. Does he run into the back of Sierra Clampert? Yes, he does. And both of those cars have to work up the track. At the same time, you got the 25 of Christopher Carter here. He gets tagged in the left rear by the 23 of David Flanagan. And that shoots that car down the racetrack. Joshua McCullough gets sandwiched, and then there's that incident. That didn't look quite like the Tony Stewart flip, but definitely see that car get inverted momentarily as watch Josh. He hits the wall, gets wedged, kind of ramps up over the 25's wheel, goes on his roof, and then quickly flips back over, kind of lands on his teammate Mark Vondell as well in the process. As you see Rocky Boyd trying to sneak through that. The 13 of Elijah Fisher tries to do the same, and then another hit right there. I believe that was Brock Westmoreland who may have ran into him, and then Joshua McCullough I think is going to take one more shot right here off the inside wall. Actually keeps it just off of it, and big hit to the inside wall by Christopher Carter there after I assume the steering on that car had already broke. Chris Carter, he saw quite a few wild views through this one. Here's what it looked like. The first incident, as Joshua McCullough goes inverted, and then at this point it's blown the suspension up. Looks like he doesn't have much steering either. So he just lets it roll right into the inside wall. Boom. Big hit right there. And then we'll give you two more angles of this here before we go back live. First one from the onboard, of course, of the man who flipped Joshua McCullough. Here's what it looked like in full speed. Side down just for a brief moment, and quickly back on the rubber side up. And then watch this. I want to show you this here from a couple different angles. Actually, we'll take two more shots. This is from TV1. Zoomed in shot, actually. As you see the 12. Boy, what a crazy view I bet that was for Noah Lurch. We might have to go on board, actually, with him as well, as he pretty much drove just about up underneath a flipping race car and still didn't hit anything. Watch this view for Noah Lurch. He's going to see Joshua McCullough go upside down right in front of his windshield and somehow misses him. What a job by Noah Lurch to miss that wreck. Holy, that might have been one of the craziest onboard views we've seen in a while here at PGR. Now watch it from the exit of turn 4 here. All right, so as we go back live now, 8 laps to go. Lights are off on the pace car, so we're going back green this time. And it'll be 7 to go, with Malik Ray leading, Devin Ray second, Trevor Osmanoff in third, David Flanagan in fourth, and Matt Lee rounding out your top 5. Now, Baker, these cars, you can get really big runs, and in fact, I wanted to touch on this when we had saw it earlier, and you mentioned it, but we, of course, had a caution right as we started to talk about it. We saw some 2-car tandems here tonight, and we've seen some really big runs coming out of those 2-car tandems, so, you know, we saw this move in the Podium 500 a few times in previous years. We've seen it in other big races where if you are that second-place car on the final lap, let's say you're, in this case, Trevor Osmanoff pushing Malik Ray up top, if you set that tandem up at the right time, isn't it that you can pretty much push away from the rest of the field and then have a chance to steal it yourself?
Yeah, it just, what I think, oh, these guys are talking a bunch. I think it's really hard to tandem more than half a lap here, if not a quarter of a lap. The people behind you are going to get such a big pull off the draft that the only time it really works is if they're side by side behind you and you're pushing out a 4. That's where the tandem's really going to come into key. So I think you can see that from Trevor to Malik, or, you know, Malik to Devin, that you're going to see these guys really working together here at the end.
Absolutely, and what you're telling me is timing is key. All right, so we'll have to see what happens here, but again, 7 laps to go, and if we get another caution, that's going to be creeping towards either late race restart, natural green, white checkered, or potentially our first overtime attempt here tonight. So here we go. 7 laps to go. Strap those virtual seatbelts tight one more time. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega.
Big move to the top side for Devin Ray there. He's got Malik Ray on the back bumper with Trevor Osmanoff. Landon Veliky, Merck, he'll work with Veliky and Vicente to try and get out of the line, but then you got Kyler behind that. Down to side draft, big push from the bottom side. Oh, Lee almost clear. 3 wide throughout the field. Vicente, big time side draft to Kyler. Kyler's going to go back. He's in the sucker hole. He gets back up. We're 2 wide for the first 10 rows. But that got Falkingham clear. It was a great push from Matt Lee. That bottom side still going to roll for sure. You see Kyler Wynn, he jumps 3 wide. Vicente, he's going to put a stop to it, really put the binders on these guys. Shuffling all throughout the field. Oh, Keith barely settled. There goes Devin Ray.
Oh, that's going to take out Malik Ray, too. Multiple of your leaders involved in this one as they wreck him up big time in the tri-oval. Oh, man. Devin Ray is involved. Yeah, this one is a painful one for the Jack Shack. Trevor Osnoff is also involved. So there's Devin Ray out. John Darnell, he's got heavy damage. Ron Morris Jr. trying to drive out of the grass. And so, yeah, this is going to take us to either 2 laps to go or potentially to our first overtime here of the night. As everybody tries to get back rolling. This one, again, damaged quite a few of them. And boy, it all started with a heck of a save from Jeff Merck. And I don't know if he ended up being involved in this. We'll find out right here. But first, let's just go back and see how this one starts. Talked about Jeff Merck, who's sitting in 8th, so I believe he may have avoided this. But watch out here. This is going to be coming off of turn 4. Jeff Merck up top. And that was Veliky. That was Veliky. I apologize. Yeah, it'd make more sense because that save looked like a driver who was using 210. And I was like, I don't think Merck uses 210. That would explain it. That was actually Landon Veliky who had that incredible save right there in the 62. Jeff Merck was pushing him. And it's that Merck just gets Veliky a little bit offset right here. And then tries to give him a shot in the corner. He's offset to the left. And you can see what that's going to do to Veliky's car right here as it just hooks it down the track. Veliky, though, does a phenomenal job of saving it. And him saving that race car might have saved him a chance at this race. And as Veliky does hold on to it, unfortunately, Devin Ray a little bit further back does not. He's got a bit of a separate issue right here. Let's see what gets the 48 turned up the racetrack. He was sitting on the outside, getting pushed here by Malik Ray. There's Falkingham on the inside. Or rather on the... Actually, let's go to the chopper view. This is another one of those ones where it's kind of a head-scratcher from the initial look as to... So Devin Ray is pushing Falkingham. And then is Malik Ray going to try to push Devin here? It looks like he is. And then does Devin try to jump up right here? Looks like he does. Falkingham goes to block. And then Malik gets into the back of Devin. That sends Devin down the track. He gets in to the one car that shoots the 48 back up. And it's on from there. We'll slow that down. Play at normal speed for you here. And watch how many this one collects. It's when he gets back up the track here. And then look as they come down. Malik Ray gets collected. And then it's just going to collect the rest from there. Vicente Guerrero, Trevor Oswornoff, Chandler Parsons, Richard Elliott. Devin Ray goes airborne. And look at that hit from Daniel Eberhard. He came flying in there. Might have broken the safer barrier with how hard he hit the outside wall. Watch this hit for Daniel Eberhard, who we saw earlier lose laps, but was trying to stick in this race, stick through it to the end. And for 90, boy, this is not how he wanted it to end. He's going to try to shoot through it here. Looking for the gap. Thought the seas parted. Unfortunately, they don't. And then ends up hitting the wall at pretty much 90 degrees, perpendicular to it. Gets in Ron Morris Jr. after, and then you see the cars spinning down low. There's Devin Ray and multiple others. And for the Jack Shack, like I said, this was a costly one. Kyler Wynn got taken out in the last one, and the other 3 got taken out in this one. So they are worse for wear right now. And the team that looked arguably the most dominant all night is going to have some work to do now just to even try to get back up here.
Yeah, but a guy that we haven't talked about the whole race, talked about him at the beginning of the broadcast, but Stephen Miles, he's up here in 4th place, looking to put his name in PGR win column. And you've got Sierra Clampert there in 5th. Raymond Hanneman making a return. He was on BAR. Don't know what they renamed their team to, but was a part of their organization before he took a step back. So some good cars up here.
Yeah, and for Clampert and Miles, those were the 2 drivers that just narrowly missed that last wreck. And which is what, of course, now has them in position to potentially get it done here tonight. So we'll see if the lights go off this time. If they do, it'll be a 3-lap shootout to the finish. If they don't, it'll take us to a 2-lap shootout to the finish. As saw a couple jokes in the chat that Barney the Flagman is going to need Tommy John after the race here tonight. With our 10th caution, he's still hanging on. Trooper up there in the virtual flag stand. But if you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. And if you've been tuning in, boy, we certainly appreciate you sticking around through what it's been here tonight. I believe, in fact, Baker, where are we heading back to next week? Is it going to be back to the Xfinity cars?
We're still making the decision for next week. We may mix it up again, go with the Gen 6, but maybe not. May slow it down. Give us the Xfinity old bread and butter back, or try and Xfinity, maybe trucks. We'll see.
Very interesting to see, that's for sure. Matt Mettler, though, as of right now, is supposed to be joining me back in the booth here next Thursday, so looking forward to that and having Matt back after, I know he was dealing with a lot after the hurricane. Got quite a few tornadoes that rolled through his area. He got damaged, so that's why we haven't seen him for a little while. Looking forward to that as Dylan Basin, if you gambled on him, you might be getting ready to get a pretty big return on your investment right here for the 48 machine. He can bring home the victory here tonight. The 04 Matt Lee on the inside, and then as you talked about, Stephen Miles, the outside of row 2. Can't forget about Falkingham on the inside, and you've got Sierra Clamper alongside Kyler Wynn in row 3, and Raymond Handyman alongside Caden Diedrich in row 4. Jeff Merck, Evan Carlbon, both inside the top 10 as well. And I'll tell you what, in fact, this is Carlbon back here in 78. But I'm seeing in the chat, Heat Joe wants trucks back. I mean, could you imagine with the wrecks that we've seen here tonight, if it would have been in the trucks, the amount of blowovers we would have been.
Maybe had a little more green flag racing because we could have some cars out of the race.
Yeah, that's for sure. Nonetheless, though, here we go. So it'll be a 3-lap shootout. We got to make it to the white flag for this race to be official. If we can't get there, then that will officially send us into our first green-white checkered attempt. iRacing pace car pulls off. He's going to have to pit for fuel here as he gets ready for what is going to be a crazy, chaotic 3 laps. And now you've got a couple drivers up top that I think will stay committed. Kyler Wynn, though, he's going to be looking to try to split Miles up top any chance he gets. Here we go as green flag is back in the air. 3 laps to go at Talladega.
Good start on the bottom side. No real push from the top side. Kyler Wynn's going to split it out 3 wide. He's going to get to the back bumper here of Dylan Basin. Merck giving a big shove to Caden Diedrich there on the outside line. Veliky, he's clear up to the middle if he wants it, but it's only these two trying to push here. No help. He's trying to get Basin to go down, but there's 4 lined up on the bottom. Big push from Falkingham gets Lee clear to the top. Is Lee going to take it? I don't think he is. That top's going to really form up, though.
Top's going to form up right now. It is 4 versus 4 on the bottom and the top. Where is the help going to go behind that? Caden Diedrich looking up top. Caution's out. It's an incident in this second pack here. We just saw who it was. Was Malik Ray one of the drivers involved? Yes, he was. Looks like Mark Von Dell will be the other. And this time Malik Ray does have damage, pretty significant, as does Elijah Fisher and a few others. So this will officially send us into our first green-white checkered attempt. All right, let's go back and look at it. And I just took a peek back at that second pack before we watched Matt Lee sail it off into turn 3 because I thought I saw him dicing it up a little bit. They were 3, maybe even 4 wide in a couple spots. And somewhere something doesn't work out here, and it looks like it's going to start right around the 13 of Elijah Fisher. We'll go to the chopper view first. So watch Elijah here. He actually blinks out, I think. Watch, he's running on the bottom. There's Cody in the middle. The 13 just starts to go up, maybe trying to jump up in front of the 6 and Eagles, but he's just not clear. Gets turned. Right as he gets turned, he blinks out. And then as he blinks back in, he's already in traffic, and now the wreck's on. Nagels gets some damage. It's going to be everybody else just trying to miss it here. We saw Malik Ray. He took some pretty significant damage on the front. Curious to see how this happens. Malik Ray, let's watch it here from a different angle. We back it up a little bit. Did Malik Ray, did he already have this damage? Certainly didn't think the 7 did. Watch it here on TV2 as they start to wreck out in front. He sees it, dives low, gets little contact with Jones, but actually does look like he already had some of that damage. So Malik Ray actually doesn't get really much further involved. Maybe slight contact there with the 13 on the left front, but already had whatever was on the right front. And then Mark Von Dell back there, I think, was just checking up. He may have also had damage before this wreck actually happened. So with that being the case, it was really the 13 of Fisher and the 6 of Nagels to get the worst of it here. And for Cody, another wreck he was involved in tonight, just minding his own business here when the 13 just drifts up, not clear, and you can't really blame Cody at this point in the race for not lifting. You got to start holding guys accountable at some point for making moves that just don't work. And I know Fisher wasn't doing it intentionally, obviously, but just not clear. And unfortunately, that's the end result. Give you one more shot at this here before we go back live and set ourselves up, I should say, for what's going to be the first green light checker attempt. And there it is. Boy, the 13. I'll tell you what, that makes a wreck so much more difficult when a guy starts to wreck and then blinks out, because you don't know where he's going to be when he eventually blinks back in. So that was a really, really tough wreck for guys to tell where the 13 official was going to go. Either way, though, I think Nagels is okay. So as we go back live, Matt Lee being scored as your leader, Dylan Basin second, and it's Daniel Falkingham in third with Kyler Wynn back in fourth. Landon Veliky fifth, Sierra Clampert sixth, Raymond Handyman seventh with David Flanagan eighth, Caden Diedrich in ninth, and Noah Lurch rounding out your top 10. We've got 3 attempts at a green-white checker, but hoping these guys can get it wrapped up in one. I've got a couple reports waiting on me tomorrow morning, so hopefully I can get this one wrapped up. But I mean, overall, the green flag racing we got to see there towards the kind of middle/later portions of this race was really good. I mean, it shows what you can do in these cars, and like I said, you know, Baker, and I'm sure you can attest to this, some of my favorite parts about running those long 500-mile races in these next gens was when you get the long green flag runs, that's when you can really learn about what moves you want to set up for the finish. And I know we already talked about kind of how it works, and you said you got to time it for out of 4, and that's what I would do, because I'm telling you, if I am, my goal, if I'm in these top 5, is get to this outside, try to be obviously either the first or second, but if I get to that second place position, I'm just going to stick to the back of whoever I'm pushing, try to set it up to tandem away off of 4, and that way I can set that move up for the tribal either high or low, grab the side draft, which we know is so powerful in these cars, and see if I can't outrace that other guy to the start-finish line.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, I'd rather be the third car in line pushing that lead car, because they're going to go at it and duke it out, and once they get side by side, try and slingshot around both of them there at the end. I think, you know, Veliky, Falkingham, Kyler Wynn, Sierra, they're in the catbird seat right now for sure. The 2 up front there, and Basin and Lee, I think they're sitting ducks.
I would have to agree. Well, remember, we started this race with 50, I think it was 50 cars total. Baker and Turpin, of course, not actually racing, just listed on the roster. So think about that. We started the race with 50 cars, 70-lap event, and right now we only have 28 cars that are still currently on the lead lap. That shows you how crazy of a night it's been so far, but hey, we could still potentially see that photo finish, which can erase the way the rest of the race has gone, and some big names up here that are still looking for their first win. Falkingham would be one of them. I believe, I'm not sure if Basin has a win yet in PGR, but of course Clampert and Landon Veliky, 2 drivers certainly looking for their first win, as is Flanagan and Handyman, and pretty much everybody else out back from there looking for their first win. Rob Pickle, he's made his way back up here. The veteran Ken McCullough Jr., he's been creeping around the back for most of the night, but made his way to the front right when it mattered most. Stephen Miles is still up here. Caden Diedrich, the 12 of Noah Lurch. A lot of big names up here, Baker. I feel an upset incoming tonight.
I hope so, man. It'd be a good way to cap this one off. I know it's been a caution-filled race, but it'd be nice to see someone new go to victory lane.
Certainly would. All right. Remind you of the rules real quick here for overtime. It'll be a 2-lap shootout. Green-white checkered attempt number 1. We've got to make it to the white flag for this race to be official, so we got to make it around this 2.5-mile super speedway at least once. Otherwise, if caution comes out before we grab that white flag, we'll rack them up and try it again. All right, is the pace car officially back in the pits? Field in the hands of Matt Lee and Dylan Basin. It's getting ready to be an all-out brawl to the finish to decide who's going to win it. The Halloween race. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega, and it's a great restart for the 04 Matt Lee.
Oh, Kyler Wynn, he must have some damage. Bottom side rolling. Absolutely rolling. Sarah goes down to the bottom. She's going to be 6th in line on the bottom. Big push coming to the outside lane, but nothing for that bottom lane. The front 5 have run away with this so far.
So far they have, but we know how that's going to set up, Baker. They will catch them eventually, and when that run gets there, see how big of a run it is. Flanagan is pushing Kyler for all it is worth. The 29, though, just has not found the speed yet. You wonder if it's damage or if it's something else. We'll see if they can get that outside line generated, and right now, Baker, Falkingham is in the catbird seat. Matt Lee is a sitting duck. That outside line is wide open, and you know somebody's going to take it. Can we make it to the white flag? Looks like we will. Here we go. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go at Talladega.
1 lap to go. 5 in line on the bottom. You see Falkingham still giving a big shot to Lee. He's got to be running out of attempts. Falkingham's got to be thinking, I'm going upstairs. Basin goes up. Wynn's going to give him a push. Huge run coming from the top side. Oh, man, they get a little loose. There goes Lee all the way up. Basin down. Oh, Lee hung out to dry. Sierra Clamper, huge run from the back, but look at the bottom side. 3 deep pushing.
3 versus 3, top and bottom. Clampert's got to run. Nowhere to go with it. Matt Lee trying to hang on out back. This could be Basin versus Falkingham. Here we go, though. Kyler Wynn right on cue. Him and Flanagan are going to tandem away with the 48. This is going to come down to a race between Dylan Basin, Kyler Wynn, and David Flanagan. Flanagan's going to drop low. Wynn looks to block. 3 wide. Back to the checkered. Dylan Basin, I believe, gets it. No. Kyler Wynn steals it at the line. What a finish. For a car that had damage, we didn't see him for pretty much the entire first and a half lap there of that green-white checkered. But yet again, he comes through and gets the job done. Kyler Wynn is your race winner. And we'll keep that unofficial for now because gap is showing less than 100th of a second. And as close as it was, why don't we just go ahead and get things started by going back and taking a look at it because that's just how close things were. How about David Flanagan swinging it out, trying to see if he can make a move to win this race, and you got to love to see that. Watch this, though, here. They 3-car tandem up at the perfect time, and as they go through the trial to 23 here, I don't know. I think he makes the move at the right time, but then Kyler waits just a little bit later, grabs a bit of a side draft off the 48, and now it's just a drag race to the checkered here. Kyler's going to try to pull a little bit lower. And, oh, man, look how close that one is. It does look like, though, from this view, I'll show you again, yeah, Kyler Wynn, he definitely gets to the checkered first. It wasn't by much, but it was still enough. We crown the winner here tonight. Again, what a win for the 29 of Kyler Wynn. All right, so taking a look at your race results here tonight before we grab your top 3 for interviews. Kyler Wynn, your race winner. Dylan Basin second. David Flanagan in third. Daniel Falkingham finishes in fourth with Landon Velicki back in fifth. And it's going to be Raymond Handyman in sixth. Sierra Clamper, good run for her. She finishes seventh. Ken McCullough Jr. in eighth. Stephen Miles in ninth. And Caden Diedrich rounding out your top 10. Dylan Jones finishes back in 11th. Jeff Merck in 12th with Noah Lurch in 13th. And you've got James Wagner back in 14th. Brock Westmoreland 15th. Evan Carlbon 16th with Larry McDonald in 17th. Rob Pickle finishes back in the 18th spot here tonight. Rounding out your top 20. And 19th, it's going to be Matt Lee. And 20th is Richard Elliott. Bobby Richall finishes 21st. Vicente Guerrero 22nd. Malik Ray 23rd. Axel Smith 24th. Chandler Parsons in 25th with Joshua McCullough 26th. And you've got John Darnell back in 27th. Ron Morse Jr. is in 28th. Brian Hennings finishes 29th. And Dalton Steele finishes in 30th. Mark Vondell 31st. It's going to be Cody Nagels 32nd. Elijah Fisher 33rd. James Waring in 34th with Austin Floyd in Devin Ray 35th. Austin Floyd 36th. Gordon Spain 37th. Chris Melton back in 38th. Trevor Osborne 39th. And Daniel Eberhardt rounding out your top 40. Rocky Boyd finishes in 41st. Christopher Carter 42nd with Jimmy Emos 43rd. Perrin Huggins 44th. Chase Mistretta 45th. And Manatzi Major in 46th with Garrett Maines in 47th. John Mullahan in 48th. Josh Bonwell 49th. And Kenny Reel rounding out the field. He finishes in 50th. All right, we're going to go grab your top 3 for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Talladega. All right, welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway. Going to start first here tonight with your race winner, Kyler Wynn. Kyler, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy? Yeah, we'll give him just another minute here. Hey, Kyler, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, you grabbed a race win, and man, we've seen you pull off a lot of crazy ones, but that might have been one of the wildest ones we've seen you win. Looked like, I'm not really sure. It looked like the car was a little bit slow there the first lap. Was it damaged, or was there just not enough pushing? And then what was the difference there on that final lap?
So the restart, I started it in third gear. So that definitely wasn't optimal. I did not want that to happen. I had an agreement with Dylan on the start there to stay committed to him. Side draft the bottom lane, but because I started in third, I just completely killed the lead. So I did not mean to do that. That was not intentional. Sorry to Sierra and everybody else in line behind, but it ended up working out for me. So I can't complain too much.
Yeah, it worked out very well, man. What a crazy race overall it was here tonight. We saw a lot of wrecks, some green flag racing, and a crazy finish. The next gens, I mean, what is it that is so different, from your point of view on track here tonight? What do you think led to the kind of race we saw here tonight?
It's just the product of the huge runs you get, the tandeming, the side drafts. It's if you're deep in the pack, you have to do a lot of lifting, and I think that's what causes so much chaos. And with some of the people who don't run this car that much, they're not used to it, because in the Xfinity car, you're like pretty much wide open in the middle of the pack. You don't have to do any of the lifting pretty much. This car, it's like a whole different, it's like nothing else on the service in the draft. So it's it's unfamiliar. The pushing is like unstable a lot of the times. That's what all those factors lead to the chaotic nature of this car.
Well, even with the chaotic nature, you still found your way to victory lane to rack up another PGR win. So, hey, Kyler, before we let you head out tonight to go celebrate, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just the Jack Shack. We had a great race going there until they all got caught up in one wreck. The only reason why I wasn't in that wreck is because I got turned on by Devin. So thank you, Devin, for getting me out of there.
Kyler, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the race win, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yep.
All right, now that'll bring us to your second place finisher here on the night, Dylan Basin. Dylan, this is also up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I was saying earlier during the broadcast that if there was a driver you wanted to bet on but not race yourself, it was Dylan Basin. And man, you deliver yet again. But a photo finish between you and Kyler. Is there anything you think you could have done different there coming off of 4, knowing that you were kind of in the sitting duck position?
Well, honestly, Kyler had told me from 2 restarts ago that he'd stay with me the whole time, and I felt like I wasn't going to try to door him or anything to get the win. He helped me stay in the money, and that's really all I wanted. I'm not really too crazy about going for the win. Just want to finish in the money and keep it safe. So when he made the move, I didn't expect to get side drafted that hard, but I think being 3 wide just didn't help because Flanagan was on the bottom, and I figured he would kind of be side drafting Kyler too, but that left free side draft hit pretty hard, and there wasn't really much time for me to do anything else. So honestly, I'm just happy with the finish. Finishing in the money, you can't complain about it.
No, you certainly can. And you said that you wanted to play it safe here tonight. And so was the mindset that the safest spot to be was the front? Because it seemed like we saw you there pretty much the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, after the first few hours, you could tell there was a trend. When most direction are in your mirror, it just kind of tells you to stay in the front. Usually I'm kind of the guy that likes to pit every caution and get the extra fuel and be try to pull strategy. But this time I decided to stay up front and hope for the best, and it worked out.
Certainly did. Well, Dylan, to cap off a good run here tonight, a pretty big payout. Is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Well, thank you guys for putting on this race and for the broadcast. Thanks to Baker for adminning, doing a good job tonight, and that's about it.
Dylan, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the second place finish, and we will see you next week.
I already appreciate it.
All right, now that'll bring us up to your final podium finisher, third place finisher, David Flanagan. Matthew Baker stands by with him.
Hey, Flanagan, it's Baker and Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Baker.
Well, is this, answer me this, is this your first podium in PGR, or have you had one before?
No, I had one a few weeks back with Mullahan when I pushed Mullahan to the win.
Well,
and I had a supposed team event that got canceled.
Well, another podium for you there. Talk to me through the rest of the race from the drop of the green flag. What was your mindset trying to keep the car alive throughout the chaos?
Well, it's pretty much like every event in here. I wish it goes green. And once I see about 2 or 3 cautions, I take my butt right to the back, then just kind of chill if I'm not involved in them. Usually I get tagged a little bit, but usually I keep it safe. But yeah, as soon as I see 2, 3 cautions in the first 15 laps, it's to the back because I know it's finna be more.
Yeah, for sure. And it just, take the Denny Hamlin mindset to the super speedway race, right in the back, save your car, and then go up there when it matters. And you definitely did that towards the end. What do you think you could have done through the tri-oval to try and get that second place? It looked like you pulled out in time. You just didn't get as close to the left rear as you wanted to.
Yeah, it was just the wrong. I don't have really too much crazy experience in these. Like, obviously, like if I get hooked up with someone, I can push anybody to the lead. But I should have hung on his rear a little bit more. I really would have pulled him back. I don't think I would have gotten first, but I definitely would have gotten second. But I don't know. I tried to just cut the tri-oval as much as I could, kind of like a hot lap per se. Take the shorter way around and try and get it, but obviously that didn't work. So,
well, just like Basin said, even though he didn't get the win, finishing in the money is what you're set out to do here. 2 spots short, but still going home with, it looks like $200. So not a bad day for a $26 entry. Who would you like to thank or shout out?
Of course, everybody over at MMS. Unfortunately, I think I took out some teammates tonight, unfortunately. So everybody over there, Mullihan, Kenny, all of them, thanks for the support and teaching me and just growing with me. And then my friends, all my friends over there at Chrome Racing, Bryce, Brady, Trey, Adam, Jack, all them boys over there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for hosting the event. Thanks for the broadcast. I know it's kick-ass. I'll probably watch it tomorrow while I'm working. Just sitting there welding, listening.
Also, Noahs does a great job behind the scenes and in the booth for sure. Thanks for talking to us, playing again. Hope to see you out here next week.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Baker.
All right. Well, that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here tonight. I mean, I think chaos, craziness, a couple words to describe what we saw here tonight, but still, I feel like it's easy to forget all that after you see the finish that we had here tonight. The final product did not disappoint in that aspect. We had a couple of hiccups on track, a couple of hiccups in the booth here tonight, but overall had a lot of fun. It seemed like people in the chat were having a good time, and as always, you guys are what make these events possible. So we appreciate you coming out, spending your Halloween with us. As always, we hope you enjoyed. Before we head out, Baker, you got anything else you want to add?
No, just great racing there at the end. I liked the clean finish between the 3 drivers, mutual respect. They had the agreement between Wynn and Basin that they were gonna run it out clean either way, and much respect to Basin for not dooring Kyler there once he pulled out a line, because I know I would have doored him for sure with some of the stuff that Kyler pulls, just trying to give him a taste of his own medicine. But the bigger man prevailed there, and he got the 250. So nothing really to be mad about over $50. So I hope we can run this car a little more, get us used to this car, get us used to the runs, get the mid-pack drivers, the back-of-the-pack drivers used to the car for the checkups, so we can put on a good show for the PGR 500.
Absolutely. All right, that's officially going to do it for us here tonight. That's it for me, Austin Green, alongside Matthew Baker here on PGR Esports. Until next time, have a good night.